You are dying on a frozen rock, and that is the best thing that has ever happened to you. You just do not know it yet. Your fingers stopped working an hour ago. The snow has gone from cold to warm, which is the lie the ice tells you at the end. Somewhere above the clouds, a giant in gray armor looks down through the storm and decides that a boy who refuses to stop shivering is worth watching. Imperial records would call this a death world. You would call it home, if you could still speak. Here is what is coming for you, and none of it is rescue. A cup that rewrites your body from the inside. A wolf that lives in your blood and wants the wheel. A soul test named after a two-headed beast that decides which pile of the dead you belong on. Trials that most of your class will not survive. And at the end of it, if you are very lucky and very stubborn, a suit of armor and a job description that reads, more or less, charge first and live optional. The sources call these giants the Sky Warriors of Russ. They do not want the safe. They do not want the warm and the comfortable and the sensible. They want the ones who were losing badly and refused to lie down. They gather the almost dead because dying well is not a tragedy to them. It is a qualification. That is the joke buried under all the frost. You spent your whole short life trying not to die, and the reward for nearly dying loudly on your feet is that something enormous decides you are interesting. The wolf skull helm tilts down toward you. You are about to be chosen to suffer better. This is the story of that life, from a Fenrisian nobody to a space wolf's blood claw, and the many ways it tries to end early. But before a monster in gray armor picks a frozen boy out of the snow, you have to understand the boy and the rock that made him hard enough to be worth saving. So we rewind, past the storm, past the long ships, all the way back to the day you were born. Rewind far enough, and you begin on a rock that hates you, Fenris. Imperial records would call it a death world. The people born there just call it home. The planet is a machine built for killing. Its land masses are not fixed. Volcanic heat pushes islands up from the sea, then drags them back under. So the map you learned as a child may be gone by the time you are grown. The seasons make it worse. The long winter buries everything under ice and dark. The short, warm season boils the seas, and the boiled seas send monsters, some longer than the ship that carries you. There is one continent that stays, Asaheim, high and stable, crowned by a mountain so vast the tribes speak of it in hushed voices. They call it the Fang. Somewhere inside it live the Sky Warriors of Russ, the giants in gray the saga's promise will come for the worthy. You will not meet them yet. You will only grow up beneath their mountain, small and cold and busy staying alive. Your people are longship raiders. Feuding clans, hard lives, early deaths. They worship the Emperor as the Allfather and treat the wider galaxy as rumor. Your childhood chores are simple. Do not drown, do not freeze, do not get eaten. The chapter's own sagas point to famous warriors, the kind of upbringing that shaped names like Ragnar Blackmane, and the pattern is always the same. Nobody hands you a gentle youth here. There are no lessons that are not survival. You learn the sea by nearly dying in it. You learn the ice by watching others fail to. The planet grades on a curve, and then, quietly, you graduate. You reach young adulthood. Most do not. The sources vary on the exact toll, but every account agrees the number is brutal, and every account agrees on what surviving means. It marks you. It sets you apart from the frozen graves of everyone who tried and stopped. You think that makes you safe. It makes you visible. Something up on that mountain has been counting the ones who refuse to die. And now that you have proven yourself, it has begun to move. You feel it before you see it. Not a monster, though you brace for one. Something colder and more patient, watching from the edge of the smoke. You have just survived a battle, or nearly not survived it. You are on your back in the snow, blood freezing where it lands. This, the sources claim, is exactly the state the Sky Warriors want you in. The Space Wolves take the strongest and the most defiant of Fenris. That much is consistent across the stories. But there is a grimmer detail the histories keep returning to. Their recruiters often walk the ground after a battle, stepping past the healthy and the whole, and kneeling instead beside the dying. They gather the ones who fought hardest and fell anyway. Being about to die well is the entrance requirement. So here is the joke your whole life has been building toward. You spent every winter trying not to die. You dodged the sea, the ice, the things in the water. And the reward for nearly dying, loudly, refusing to stop, is that you get picked. The figure that comes for you is a wolf priest. In the chapter, he is spiritual guide and keeper of the gene seed at once. A chaplain and an apothecary folded into one wolf-skulled shape. Depending on the story, He has watched your bloodline for years, or he has simply appeared over the bodies because that is where the worthy are found. Either way, he does not introduce himself. A hand 3 times the size of yours closes around you and lifts you out of the snow. It explains nothing. There is no ceremony, no question, no chance to decline. You are cargo now, precious and expendable in the same breath. The village shrinks below you. The gray sky swallows the long ships, the feuds, the small, hard life you clawed your way through. You are being carried up toward the mountain fortress you only ever saw as a distant silhouette. Up there, in the Fang, they will find out what you are truly made of. And most of the ones lifted from the snow beside you will not walk back down. The Fang swallows you whole. It is a mountain that has forgotten it was ever just a mountain, carved into halls that go up and up until the cold stops being weather and starts being a decision. You arrive with others. You will not leave with most of them. You expected a test. You did not expect the test to be survival with the training wheels torn off. On the surface, Fenris already killed the weak, the slow, and the merely unlucky. This is the retake, and the sources agree on one thing above all. It is worse. The exact ordeals vary by story. Some accounts describe endless climbs through freezing dark. Others speak of pain held without flinching, hunger endured without complaint, fear stared down until it blinks first.
The details differ, but the shape is always the same. Trials of endurance, of pain, of will. The wolf priests are measuring whether you are worthy of the gene seed, and the gene seed does not care about your feelings. Only a fraction survive. The chapter can afford this arithmetic because Fenris keeps producing hard people. An entire death world tuned to grow candidates faster than the trials can spend them. You are not precious. You are one more name in a very long ledger, and the ledger has no eraser. There is no failing gently here. There is failing, and then there is simply not existing anymore. Pass or disappear. The ones who break are not sent home to try again next year. They are removed from the story, quietly, permanently, and the climb continues over the space where they stood. You begin to understand the wolf priests. They are not cruel for sport. They are cruel with purpose, because a soft aspirant becomes a dead battle brother, because kindness now is a lie that kills later. This is somehow less comforting than if they had simply enjoyed it. And then, against every reasonable expectation, you pass the tests that killed the people beside you. You let yourself believe the worst is behind you. It is not. There is a trial your aching body cannot answer, one that reaches past muscle and marrow and asks a question of the thing inside you. A test named for the 2-headed death wolf that guards the gates of the dead. They call it the Test of Morkai. In Fenrisian myth, Morkai is the black wolf with 2 heads, the guardian of the underworld gates. One head watches the living, one head watches the dead. Both are deciding which pile you belong on. The sources differ on what the test actually is. Some accounts describe a trial of visions. Others describe a long interrogation of the spirit. What the stories agree on is the purpose. The wolf priests are not measuring your muscle now. They are looking inside your head. They want to know if something is hiding there. The Imperium fears one thing above all others, and that thing is corruption. A warrior can be strong, brave, and loyal, and still carry a crack in the soul that chaos can pry open later. So before they trust you with the gene seed, they check. In many tellings, the Test of Morkai screens for psychic instability, or weakness of will, for the faintest whisper of the enemy already inside you. This is the soul exam, and you never studied for it, because nobody can. Here's the part the recruiters leave out. If you fail, you do not go home. There is no home to go to, and there is no failing gently. Those who fail the Test of Morkai are killed. The chapter frames this as mercy and as security. A compromised soul is not a sad story. It is a future disaster wearing power armor. Better a dead aspirant than a traitor with a bolter. So you stand before the 2-headed shadow, and you hold. Whatever they put in front of your mind, you do not break and you do not bend. And nothing answers back from the dark. You pass. And now you are trusted. The wolf priest steps forward and offers you something. It looks almost gentle. A plain cup held out in a gauntleted hand, which sounds like a reward, right up until you learn what is waiting inside it. You hoped it held a drink. It holds a rewrite. Every space marine is built the same way, by implanting gene seed organs grown from a Primarch. For the space wolves, that Primarch is Leman Russ, and his gene seed carries something the others do not. The sources call it the Canis Helix. In many accounts, it begins with a swallow from that plain cup handed to you by the wolf priest who already decided you were worth the risk. You drink, then you wait for your own body to turn against you. The change is not a montage. It is a fever that rebuilds you from the marrow out.
Your senses sharpen until the room becomes loud with smells you never knew were there. Your teeth crowd into fangs. The histories say some of the standard implants other Marines rely on never fully switch on in a Space Wolf. You do not get the full toolkit. You get a different set of problems. Some recruits do not survive the drink. Others survive the body and lose the mind. The lore is blunt about this. The transformation can kill you, or it can hollow you out and leave something else behind the eyes. That something has a name, the Wulfen, the wolf within. In the stories, the beast is not a metaphor, it is a passenger. It rides inside every Space Wolf, and it wants the wheel. Most keep it caged for centuries, some do not, and the chapter treats those cases as both a strength and a shame, the thing they will not discuss at the feast. The wolf priests exist partly to watch for it, in the young and in the ancient alike. The risk never leaves, not after your first battle. Not after your 1000th. You wake up altered, faster, stronger, sharper, and no longer entirely alone in your own skull. You passed, you lived, changed, and now the chapter looks at what you have become, the youngest and most reckless thing in the Fang, still trembling with the animal you just barely leashed. They lace you into gray armor and give you a name. You are a Bloodclaw, the youngest and most reckless of them all. The Space Wolves never adopted the tidy structure the rest of the Imperium follows. There are no numbered squads climbing a neat ladder here. There is only the pack, and you are its most expendable tooth. A Bloodclaw's tactics are simple. See enemy, become problem. Your entire job description is to be too angry to think, and the chapter treats that as a phase you must survive to earn the right to be angry more carefully later. Survive long enough, and they promote you to Grey Hunter, a seasoned line warrior who has learned to charge slightly later. Live longer still, and you become a Long Fang, the grizzled veteran trusted with the heavy weapons. Above them all stand the Wolf Guard, the elite chosen by each Wolf Lord. The sources point to Ragnar Blackmane, who began exactly where you stand now and rose to Wolf Lord with rare speed. He is the 1 in a million. You are the other numbers. You belong to a great company now, led by a Wolf Lord, all of them answering to the Great Wolf, Logan Grimnar. Around you move the Rune Priests, the chapter's Psychers, and the Iron Priests, its keepers of machines. The culture is loud, loyal, and tribal. There are feasts, boasts, wolf names, and sagas stretching back centuries, and you are expected to add to them before you die. Your new family drinks, brags, and dies together, ideally in that order. Here is the joke at the heart of it. You escape the crushing paperwork of the Imperium and join the one faction that answers an official demand with a feast and a shrug. It feels like freedom. It is still a war machine, and it will spend your life freely. Then the horns sound across the Fang. A campaign is calling, and your pack is answering. You are about to learn what a Bloodclaw is truly for. The call to war does not come with ceremony. It comes as a name, a target, and a very short list of instructions. In many campaigns, your first deployment is not a careful operation. It is a boarding action against a drifting hulk, or a drop onto a world already screaming, and your pack is thrown at the worst of it first. You wanted a saga. What you get is noise. The Space Wolves fight everywhere, against everything. The spiky silhouettes of chaos. The green tide of the orcs, loud and endless. The chittering insect mass of the Tyranids. Whatever the enemy, the chapter's answer is the same. Get close, hit hard. Trust the axe over the gun. As a Bloodclaw, you are the tip of that spear. You arrive first. You hit the enemy in melee. You absorb the worst so that steadier warriors behind you can do the thinking. Your orders are 3 words long, and 2 of them are usually charge and faster. The planning phase, if it exists at all, lasts about as long as it takes the ramp to drop. Then there is teeth and pressure, and the sound of your own pack howling on either side of you. You expected glory. Nobody warned you that glory smells like burnt ozone and looks like a wall of something far larger than you. So you do the only thing a Bloodclaw knows how to do. You swing. You swing at a shape 3 times your height. You swing at claws and mandibles and rusted iron. You are too angry to think, which today is exactly the point, because thinking would tell you to run, and running is not in the gene seed. Somewhere in the chaos, your blade bites into something that bleeds, and it goes down, and you are still standing. Then it is over, and you realize you are alive. Loud, bleeding, ears ringing, but alive. And in the quiet after, one question finally catches up with you. The one that has been chasing you since the snow, since the cup, since the wolf. Of everyone who started this path, what were the odds you would make it this far at all? So you count the cost, and the numbers are cruel. Most who were chosen never wore this armor at all. They died in the trials, or the change took them, or the soul test found something and mercy arrived as a blade. The losses come early, front-loaded, before the story even starts. You were the exception before you ever charged. Then you were a bloodclaw, which is the most dangerous thing a survivor can be. Your role was to arrive first and live optional, and many of your pack did not live at all. The young die young here, because the young are thrown at the biggest teeth. The sources do not give you a number. They do not need to. You watch the pack shrink. But say the wolf inside stayed caged. Say you charged slightly later each time, and learned and earned the right to be angry more carefully. You become a gray hunter. Then, if the galaxy keeps missing, a long Fang, an old warrior with a heavy weapon and a face like frozen granite. That is the good ending. That is what winning looks like. It looks like centuries of war with no exit. Retirement is not a thing the Space Wolves offer. There is only the next campaign, the next drop, the next enemy larger than the last. And the wolf never leaves. Even now, gray and scarred and slow, you are one bad day from the beast taking the wheel for good. That is the truth of being chosen. It did not win you a better life. It won you a longer, louder death. One your pack will sing about in a hall you will not live to see. Somewhere the little frostbitten thing in the snow would laugh. It only wanted to not freeze. Instead, it got claws, sagas, and a shadow with two heads that has been watching the whole time.
So tell me, if the Space Wolves would spend your life this freely, which faction should come for you next? Say it, and we will see how that one ends. And in the last light, the tiny blue scarf, the one thing that was ever yours, is still knotted at the throat of the armored veteran. The two-headed wolf keeps watching. It always does.